Hi and welcome everyone. This is the Hobo Prepper. I am Friar Tuck, so I'm going to be talking about some deep subjects today. If you're just wanting something surface level, this may not be the video for you. But if as SHTF escalates into an even more extreme SHTF situation than one we're going through, if you watch my last video, you'll hear me talk about how they're just trying to crash everything, and it's not that we're all doomed. It's just brace for impact. Now, when that happens, and as that happens, there are some things that you need to consider, things that will keep you safe and things that will keep the people that you care about safe. And this happens during any economic downturn, through any major turmoil within society. Doesn't matter where you're at, whether you're in China or whether you're in America or whether you're in Europe. And if you saw the 2000 crash, the 2001 crash, the after 9/11, and then you also have the 2008 crash, and now we have another crash that we're going through. And then plus, if you were alive and were in the economy and in the workforce in the 80s, I think there was one in either 87 or 89. And then, if you were old enough to live through the 70s, so you know that at every time people have gotten to the point where they see no way out and they choose to take their own life. Whether it be your friends, whether it be your family, whether it be the people that you care about most. These people may reach that point. And so how is it that you deal with it? As someone who's been through that experience, there are two types of people. 90% of people are just doing it for attention, and and in a way it is also a cry out for help. But the thing is you're giving them the wrong help. Most people, what they do is they go through life and they do things, and then when they have to receive the consequences, they look at the world as being the aggressor because they don't understand that there's consequences for their actions. And so what happens is in their moment of pain, they go, "Oh well, I want to do this to myself." Those people, ignore them. If you're going to do anything to help them, sit back and help them realize what it is that they're doing in their life that's causing the pain that it's causing them. Because this is something that I had to learn growing up, especially in my 20s. And I'm a Gen X. I'm the last of Gen X, but millennials are probably dealing with this on an even grander scale because of how messed up their parents were in raising them, in the trophy society. With that being said, the other part, the 10%, now there is a small portion of people who have reached a point where they look at the consequences as being better than the alternative. It may escalate from just these little whims to, oh, now I'm so serious because just the world sucks and the world hates me. And then you've got those other people, like what really brought me to the point of suicide was within a matter of days. I ended up having a mental breakdown because of something that happened at work. I had somebody triggered me into a panic attack, and I couldn't reel back from it. And then on top of that, my wife left me with nothing but the clothes on my back. She took the kid, the car, the furniture, and all of that. And next thing I know, I spent 23 days in the mental institution, or not in the mental institution, but in what they call the suicide ward. And that 23 days is completely unheard of, because normally what happens, especially with your 90 percenters, is they're in and out in 3 to 5 days. After 3 to 5 days, they've calmed down, they've gotten their emotions in order, and then they're going to go back out there and be self-destructive again until they end up back in that situation. But for me, I'd reached a point where I was just I'd lost the will. You just kind of stare out a window and just drool, and the thought of eating and sleeping and doing your basics, even hygiene, it's removed from you, and you get to that point. But there's nobody that can really do anything for you at that point, even, because when you reach that point, it's just a matter of you need some time to heal, and you just need somebody to remind you that this pain is temporary, and that when you're ready and you're done healing, let's sit down and figure out a way not to bring you to this point. Because the thing is in a lot of instances, it's the things that we do because we don't realize that that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So for everything that you do, there's a consequence, whether it be good or whether it be bad. There is a consequence, and if you don't understand that there are consequences for your actions, and you do things thinking that you're actually doing things to be good and to be a good person, in a lot of ways that may be the intent, but the revelation is the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And that's because as we get into it, we change how we want to deal with it. And there is a lot that could be said around it. If you guys want me to dedicate a video to really talking to you about this subject a little bit more in depth, it'll probably be about a 20 or 30 minute video. Leave me a link down in the description, and I will definitely make a video on it. But I'm not sure if you guys are even interested in hearing about this, but with your friends and families and your loved ones, this is something that you should be more on alert for, because as we start to lose everything that we could lose, there are going to be people that just see no end in sight and see that as the easy way out, not realizing the true consequences of their actions. With that being said, let me move on to thing number 2 that you should consider. Okay, when you're out and you start packing your gear, you should be really, really, really considerate of weight and the amount that you're carrying, because either you're going to have to carry it on your legs and your back, or just put the power into your legs if you follow the solution that I do, which is which is a bike. And if you're gonna, regardless of which of those 2 routes you're gonna go, you need to understand that that putting all that pressure, just like being fat, harms your knees and your joints, and harms your back because of all that extra pressure that you're putting on it. Gear does the same thing. Instead of you might be physically fit and in shape, but that weight on your back is the same as the weight that I'm carrying on me right now. So this is something that you should be considerate of, and realize that if you expect to be doing long distances, which you should, if you expect to be out there for a long period of time, something greater than a week, then you should definitely consider weight. Now, the thing is you need to realize that there are 2 options that you have for you that will help you keep your weight down, which is 1, as things break down, you can replace it and get lighter gear. 1. 2, as things break down and you realize that you really didn't need them, you can get away from them. The second thing is you can also pick up these things while you're out on the road. So I have this sleeping pad. It's self-inflatable. It's really good. I like it. But there's going to come a point when there's going to get a hole in it, or it's going to wear out because I've slept on it for so long. I don't expect it to last for more than a year or 2. After that year, what am I going to do about a sleeping pad? Because I need to have something between me and the ground so that I can survive, whether it be hot or cold. And that's where I would stop by a Salvation Army, or I would stop by a Goodwill store, because if you are homeless, in which even if you're a nomad, you're still considered part of the homeless. If you were in that situation where you do not have a house, you can always go to the Salvation Army, you can go to Goodwill, you can go to any homeless shelter and ask them if they have any sleeping bags. And sleeping bags are hard to come by because they get stolen a lot. So the police come in there, they take out the sleeping bags because, in order to not carry weight, especially if you're going to be local, you're going to stuff it in a bush. So either the police come by and get it, or the landscapers come by and get it, or another hobo comes by and takes it. And so what happens is as the police and the landscapers take that out of circulation, now all of a sudden you put a crunch. If you are in this profession, you should just understand that this is a place for them to stash it, and you should just definitely leave it alone, because you're going to cause more harm than good. They're not doing any real harm other than stashing a bag. It'll be gone in a few hours when they come back for it after they get done walking around. But you should also understand that your gear, you should start off light and bring your basics: food, water, shelter, and clothes. Past that, and hygiene. Past that, anything that you need to add should be added while you're out on the road. If you still have things and you thought, oh, well, I needed all this stuff, you realize you don't, start getting rid of it. Start giving it to other hobos. Start giving it to other preppers. Start helping other people out. I'm leaving behind a whole crap ton of clothes that are going to end up being donated to Goodwill, which I wish that there was somebody else that I could just, give them to. If you want to pay for the shipping, I have a lot of clothes, mostly shirts, polos, nice clothes, stuff like that. I even got $1,000 suit. If you want to pay for the shipping, and you want to send me an address and the money for it to ship it, I have no problem shipping you all those clothes so that you can give them to other preppers within the community. I just don't have that resource or that ability at this point because of the time crunch, and just trying to figure out what clothes I need to take with me because I need to be able to survive all 4 seasons. Okay, but again, pick your stuff up while you're out on the road. And the last and third most important thing that I would like you to consider is your mental preparedness. So mental preparedness isn't your ability to be able to withstand the conditions. It's a little bit more than that, because here's the thing. Your mind has more to play with your surroundings and your perception and the things that are going on to you. Your thoughts go out into the universe, come back and manifest themselves in reality. So if you have negative thoughts, you're going to have a negative reality because that's what you're putting out and that's what you're getting back. So having positive thoughts is extremely, extremely important, because as you think positively, as you think that things are going to work out, things are going to be good for you, you really, really need to have that come from, because it's extremely important, because here's a great example. And I'll put the link down in the description. There's actually 2 videos that I'm putting down there so that I can kind of drive this home for you. But it's from a guy by the name of Ryan Van Duzer. He's done cross country, he's done all the major trails, and he's even done one of those survivalist shows with no survival experience other than what he's done bike packing across the country with cash in hand. And so he had limited experience, but the thing was what he brought to the group was the positive mental attitude, the constant, pick me up. Let's, here in California or Colorado, high five, because he's from Colorado, and he would do all kinds of things to just pep up the mood, to keep everybody in a good mood, because he's such a happy person. Probably because of all the time he spent out on the road. But the thing is that right there, in the group found that more valuable than all of the skills that they had. Why would they find something like that important? They find it important because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what skills you have. If mentally you can't put yourself in a positive attitude to have hope and to have the ability to get up and to keep moving, if you don't have something like that within your group dynamics, as a group, you're going to fall apart quick. You're going to suffer more atrocities, because the thing is people are either neutral or they are negative, and more than likely, the more that you go without. So as you start losing food, as you start going without water, as you start losing sleep, these things will cause your attitude and your mental abilities to go down in the gutter and just really fall down. And having somebody like the Ryan Van Duzer that I'm talking about to sit there and keep the group from doing that actually allowed, so I guess he started out with 9 instead of like 2 or 3 of them making it to the end, because he almost gave up too. Without him, only maybe 2 or 3 would have made it to the end, but because of him, 5 people made it to the end. So he brought an extra person with him just by that positive mental attitude. That is how important that is in survival, being out there on the road in any SHTF situation that you may experience, is just keeping that positive mental attitude, being hopeful, being happy. And sometimes that means that you've got to withdraw from all this negative news, from all this doom and gloom, which I like to do, and I'll go sit and watch a comedy special because I want to laugh. I want to be in a positive attitude. I've seen enough negative to where it's wearing down on me, to where I need to go find something positive, so that and when I start doing that, that actually recharges my battery, so that I can keep going out there and doing it again and looking at these things. Even the police officers that we deal with, the ones that I've met that I've respected, usually have something that they do outside of the police, their police work, just so that they can keep their sanity. Now, one of the first ones I met was in my BNI group, and I looked at him and I went, dude, you're a public servant, and now you're using your clout as that to make money. But him and I, because part of doing BNI is you have to have one-on-ones, and him and I got to sit back and talk, and he was explaining to me like how bad the job is, and that the whole reason why he does what he does is just so that he doesn't have to see all of the crap of society. He doesn't want to be jaded. He wants to be able to come up to somebody and not automatically assume that they are the worst of the worst, because that's all he has seen. He wants to go out there and see the other parts of society. And within that group, he got a lot of support, and a lot of people were there to help him. Why? Because it was in everybody's best interest. You want your police officers to be sane. You want them to be humane to you and the people that they're dealing with. It would probably reduce a large chunk of the adverse reactions that they're facing out there. But if they don't have anything positive to actually give them that positive outlook without being stuck in that bubble of being in the police force line of work, you're kind of screwing yourself. So with this being said, I hope that this was some good food for thought. I hope that you liked it. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Check out the video links below, because I waited till the end because I've noticed that a lot of people, when I start telling you about the links up front, you'll go down into the description and you'll go watch those videos without at least hearing my commentary to kind of put some of those in perspective so that you can connect the dots, and maybe you'll see what I see, maybe you won't, and you'll leave a comment and go, no, I think you're wrong. That's really what I'm hoping for, there will always, if I have any articles that I want to talk about or anything that has inspired this video or a video, then I will always put the links down in the description. But I hope that you watch it through to the end so that you can actually get the full perspective before you go off and do the research. That way you can kind of go, I see where he's coming up with this, but I don't see it the same way. It's wrong. And then you can, again, leave me a comment, and then we can have open discussion. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.